My name is actually Kristoffer Borgli, but thanks for the attempt. And this is Riina Zachariassen, my lovely producer. And we are here with a film called In the Making, and it's about a casting director. A casting director is the person responsible for casting for a film production. So it's about a very specific casting director set in Oslo, and he's in a point in his life where he starts acting manic and delusional because he's working with a feature film that he wants to star in himself. The movie opens with archive footage of Eirik, our casting director, at 11. He's a child star on a national TV show that ran for 1 year. He's happy and laughing. We cut to today. He's 34 years old, rushing through the city of Oslo to go to a casting. And he's there as an actor. And it's a very small and insignificant part. So we sort of learn that he's not a successful actor at this point. But we also learned that he has actually had some sort of success, a career as a casting director. We also see him picking up his daughter from his ex-wife's house, which is a big house. It's filled, it oozes of success, and his ex is now in a relationship with the most successful Norwegian actor. So there's constant pressure and reminders on him that he's not the person that he wants to be. He's then approached by a director who has what he feels is a very interesting project. It's a feature film with an offbeat romance story, and the lead part is around 34 years old, and the lead female is 16. This sparks something in his mind. He sees the opportunity here. If he can get this part, it will solve all his frustrations. He's set on winning this part for his own, because he is so tired of giving away the parts that he wants to other actors. So this is a sort of a conflict of interest for a casting director if you want the part for yourself. So it doesn't work out perfectly. We start going into the phase of following him doing the casting, and this is also when the film becomes a sort of social experiment, because we're going to take our fictional character and place him in real environments. He is going to walk around in high schools, in shopping malls, in parks and cafes, and actually interact with real people with hidden cameras. It's always going to look like a feature film, but it's going to feel very real. And we're going to look at that sort of the daydream that everyone has of just sitting at a cafe and being discovered. And it's not going to stop there. He's going to bring these people into actual auditions. And he is not a casting director that just stands behind the camera and reads the part. He's in there in front of the camera with all these people and improvises with them. But because he is at a point where he wants this part, he's going much further than what the job description says. He goes far into making sure that the romance becomes something real with all of these girls. And he goes far into making sure that all of the male leads that he's bringing in has terrible tapes. He's sabotaging the auditions. He's editing them unfairly. But to make sure that he is getting the part, he needs to go even further. He starts building this web of lies, manipulating the director and the producer and everyone around him, creating a sort of a house of cards that keeps wobbling, and you're just waiting for it all to collapse. He goes so far that once they've found the lead girl, he introduces a romance with her and manipulates her. And he goes so far in the other direction as to the male lead that the director wants, he stages a robbery and smashes his face in with a baseball bat. He goes really beyond any moral codes to the point of no return. And so when you're just waiting for this all to sort of have a big backlash, it never happens. He's actually successful in his manipulation. And it ends on him being on set of this production as the male lead, giving a wonderful, beautiful performance. He's crying, and the scene is magnificent, and the director is just standing there and just, how could I have ever thought of anyone else? You're so good. And the only people who can feel anything other than joy of this moment is him and us, the audience, for knowing what's behind the winning of this part, how far he has gone. And so it's looking at this phenomenon that a lot of people here also can relate to, in that we're extracting our happiness out of things we can't control. We're dependent on getting funding, or we're dependent on a director liking us. But this is looking at somebody who goes beyond that and actually takes control over the things you can't control. In terms of wanting that success, we're all sort of obsessed with visualizing success, and looking at casting and acting as a phenomenon is sort of the perfect visual metaphor for this state of modern mind. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
I just want to add a few notes from the producer on the social experiment side of the film, and working with placing fictional characters in a real universe. It builds on something that we've also been doing on Kristoffer's other films, working basically with hidden cameras and hidden intentions. In this, it takes it a little bit further, but it's something that we're aware of the practical and ethical and, of course, legal issues when you tell people that you use material for one thing, but you're doing something else. But what we find, and that we also saw in Kristoffer's first film, which we just locked picture on, is that it lends a very raw quality to the rest of the film, that if you place extremely uncomfortable real material within a fictional space, it forces you to look at everything else you see with different eyes, and it forces you to take a critical view on what it is that you see. And it makes the cinema a somewhat unsafe space, in that the sense that you are reminded that what you see is film. It is directed by someone, it's curated, and it gives you a slightly more active role as an audience. So it's something that we feel we have reasons to use. And on the budget side of things, we also shot Kristoffer's first feature as a low budget, nowhere near this micro budget. But in order to have flexibility on parts of the shoot, we did it with a very small second unit type size crew, which is also our intention for this, to keep it light and to keep it flexible. And thank you for being here.